In today's video, we're going to be looking at the Uranus and Gemini transit that is about to happen. It starts in April 25th of 2026 and is a 7-year transit that will dip back in for about another 6 or 7 months. It's about a 7.5-year transit total. And when these transits happen, these transits shift everything. So I woke up this morning and I had a completely different plan for today's video, and something just told me I needed to go to the Akashic Records and get 3 intuitive messages for the collective about what this Uranus in Gemini transit is going to really mean for us. So let's first look at what is the planet Uranus, how does it impact us collectively, what does Gemini mean for the collective, and how do these two things go together spiritually. And I just want to say welcome. My name is Heather Ness. I am a master intuitive whose whole life mission is to help you hear the voice of your soul. My goal is to help you be able to tune in to those whispers of your soul so you may hear them more loudly, because the truth is our soul knows the way. And in this video, we are going to receive 3 intuitive messages from the Akashic Records about this Uranus in Gemini transit. So let's get into the messages I got. What is Uranus? Planet of Uranus is all about an awakening. It is very disruptive sort of energy. It does not like the status quo. It is all about having sudden change and massive change. It is about breakthroughs. This planet brings about innovation, and it also helps us waken up to higher consciousness. This planet rules freedom, rebellion, authenticity, and truth. It is not a planet that has a vibration of secrecy or a vibration that is not for the collective. This energy is all about collective energy. It's very rebellious, spiritually awakening, spiritual consciousness type of energy. This energy is very unexpected, it's energetic, and it's very forward-facing energy. It is about the future. It's very futuristic energy. It's very exciting. And when this energy enters in the collective through the Gemini vortex, it is going to have a massive shift in old patterns that are outdated and no longer serve the collective. It will also remove limitations extremely fast. Limitations in how we feel, how we perceive, in rules and regulations. Remember, this is very rebellious energy. And so this is an energy, as it enters in the sign of Gemini, just so you understand what Gemini represents. Gemini is all about communication, thought process, and information. So when you take this rebellious, fast-moving energy and place it in a sign that is all about communication, the way we think, and about information, that right there just really gives you a glimpse into what we're going to experience. Gemini rules the mind, it rules curiosity, it rules learning and perception. And so this rebellious awakening energy is entering in a sign that is all about communication. It's about learning, and it's deeply about the way we perceive things. And that right there is like the theme that we're going to experience over the next 7 years. Gemini is deeply connected to things and businesses like the media, writing, speaking, anything that is connection-based, curiosity-based, learning-based, understanding the deeper meaning of things based. This is very much what this energy brings us. Gemini is also extremely fast-moving. So is Uranus. So if you have a planet like Uranus that is fast-moving, and it brings about rapid change, going into a sign that is the fastest sign or a zodiac sign that there is, with fast movement, with energy, this is going to double that impact of fast moving energy. Things are going to shift and change for us as a collective and individually in record speed, in speed that we haven't seen or experienced in our lifetime. When we look at where we're at right now in April 2026, and when we look back 7 years from now on where we are at that point, we are going to be in awe of the growth and change that has happened in a 7-year span of time. It will truly shock us. Now, the beautiful thing about Gemini is it's extremely adaptable energy. So even though it's going to shock us, we're going to find that collectively We're going to be like open to these shifts and changes. We're going to be open to these new like awakenings that we have with our intuition, with the way we perceive things, with the way we learn, with our consciousness. It's going to be a very interesting time because the shift is going to be fast, but it is going to be resilient, and we're going to be very like open and excited for the change. One of the other things you want to look at when it comes to the sign Gemini is it is represented in two things, right? There's a yin and yang, or the duality of it. And this is really bringing about the shift in the collective of how the only way we can have a collective balance is through the balance of duality, through the balance of the masculine and the feminine, through the balance of the light and the dark. Because the truth is, it's going to help us understand collectively that we cannot have one without the other. And that kind of hints into my very last message I got, the Akashic Records. So now let's dive into what this means for us spiritually as a collective. Spiritually as a collective, when you move the planet of Uranus into the zodiac sign of Gemini, it's going to bring about a mass awakening. An awakening to the reality of what really is happening in the world, globally, politically, spiritually. And it's also going to have a very deep, profound spiritual awakening for everyone. And this will shift in different ways for a lot of people, but it's going to be in a way that is very woo-woo or mystical, very spiritually driven. It doesn't necessarily mean any specific religion. It is more about universal truths of spirituality. These things that are woven into many different religions that are very similar. We're going to realize that there is this golden thread that connects all of it, and it comes back to a more higher truth. And this is that rebellious sort of like energy that's coming about with the Uranus, and the curiosity of the Gemini coming together through communication and the way we communicate with the world, with each other, with our own spiritual guidance and our higher self. This is going to be extremely profound for many people, and it's going to shift very, very fast. And that's really one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about helping people hear the voice of their soul and to listen to the voice of their soul. Because your soul, you already know the way. We just have been collectively for thousands of years been conditioned to not believe in or hear this whisper of our soul, because many times it isn't as loud as our logic. And so what's going to happen is it's going to become louder than it has been before with other people. You know, it's so interesting. It's a very clear sign of this. I have a family member of mine who's having a spiritual awakening, and has been having it for like the last 5 years, but it's becoming more pronounced. And this is a person that is very like even kill, very calm, cool, collected, very logical, very serious, I guess I should say. And they're having a profound like spiritual awakening that is awakening their ability to be able to really almost like sense the vibration of Mother Earth in a way that is predictive. And so like this is sort of part of that awakening, is that people are going to find that their soul is going to awaken into their spiritual, more intuitive, mystical gifts that they have. We are all intuitive beings. We all have connection to intuition. We do receive it in different ways, but collectively, we are going to shift into this mass awakening. It's going to bring about sudden shifts in belief systems, in what we perceive as our truth, and the way we perceive the world in a very profound way. Like I said before, we're going to begin to activate our intuition gifts, our gifts of intuition, and it will be different for everyone, because the truth is like, we've lived many lifetimes, and these spiritual gifts that are going to be coming on board are not things that it will feel like we're learning something. It'll be like come about as curiosity, right? Or that we have to practice and get better at it. But what we're going to find is that it comes fairly smoothly to us. And that's because it is not new information. It is a remembering of what your soul already holds. The knowledge, the depth of information, the understanding, it's already there. So let's dive into the 3 messages that I received from the collective. When I was in the Akashic Records, when I went to the Akashic Records, I saw these beautiful, fluffy, like, very sort of like loving clouds. They were like cotton candy pink and this powder blue, and they were merging together in this beautiful way. And as I'm saying this right now, this is like a metaphor for the divine feminine and divine masculine merging together. We're going to find that it is a more cohesive thing that happens. And so when I got this, it just felt very like spiritually supported. It felt very divine. It feels very loving. Loving is the feeling that I got when I was there. This shift that we're having is about awakening our heart chakra, our connection to source, Christ consciousness, the ether, whatever you want to call it, right? It is a connection through our heart. And this shift is going to awaken our heart chakra, all of our chakras above the heart, right? Our throat chakra, third eye chakra, and crown chakra. We're going to be really connected spiritually that way. And so the first message I got was really about technology. Technology that we're going to, over the next 7 years, we're going to have a rapid shift in technology. This is going to be, I'm going to grab my glasses real quick to see what I wrote. There's going to be new inventions that are going to be centered around sound and frequency. New inventions, new ideas. We're going to understand new ways to harness energy for the collective. That's going to manifest in things physically as how we create energy, how we receive and transport energy. It's also going to be how we harness energy for things like medicine, and I'm getting the word movement, so I'm feeling like transportation. These different things, we're going to be able to harness this energy spiritually and also physically. We're going to understand that everything is vibration, everything is energy, everything is a frequency. And we're going to, as a collective, begin to understand how to use it in a really beautiful way. It's going to change the way we interact with things like health, with things like transportation, with things, with everything. We are going to interact differently with this new understanding and technology. In the last week, it came about that there's this new technology that the CIA used for the very first time, and it's called, I do believe it was called ghost murmur. And it is a technology that is able to extract the specific frequency of your heart. Because your heart is where your soul enters and like your soul connects. This is the connection that we have. Everything comes through your heart and your heart chakra. And it turns out that it is a very unique frequency. It's like a fingerprint. Everyone's frequency of their heart is the energy, this little energy output that your heart gives is unique and different for every single person. It is crazy exciting and crazy, right? But they were able to find someone specifically through this frequency of the heart. And they used AI to be able to isolate out all the other noise, to be able to identify exactly and locate where this person was and like extract them, save them, whatever you want to call it, by the frequency of their heart, because it is so unique. And so this is sort of like, this is what I'm talking about. This is like technology that's going to come about, but I do believe that it's going to be holistically good for the collective, right? And we're going to, like, the everyday person is going to learn how to harness this frequency, this energy, to do really amazing things that we, at this point, could have never thought of, right? Geminis are very curious. They're very future forward thinking. So is Uranus. And when you bring these two energies together, we're going to come about over the next 7 years some really amazing forward moving in things like, for instance, they've been doing studies on how sound frequency can kill cancer cells without damaging the other cells around it. So imagine at some point in the future, near future, likely we might go into like sound bath like rooms where we sit in a frequency of sound that will destroy cancer cells, and we can walk out feeling good and refreshed because it doesn't damage any of the other cells, healthy cells. I mean, this is a kind of frequency and things that are going to be coming about. And it's just like the tip of the iceberg, right? Because Uranus hasn't even fully entered Gemini. So once it does, we're going to find that there are just innovations and ideas and concepts that come about that are just like really amazing. And this beautiful way of the way we move throughout the world. I do believe that technology will also change and disrupt the way we work. I don't want to say this in a way that is like, dooming, because I don't believe that it's going to doom us. I believe that it is going to allow us to tap into our more creative side, our more expansive side. It's going to remove the more tedious things that we do in our life that take up a lot of time when it comes to like, just like tedious kind of things. But that's going to allow space and room for more expansive thoughts, more expansive ideas. And this is part of the reason why I believe that all these new technologies are going to come about in a very fast moving way, is because we are going to have more spaciousness to be able to think more creatively and connect in with our higher self. And as I'm saying this, like, I feel like this beautiful expansion within my heart chakra, which is just confirmation for me. I get a lot of my messages through my body and my intuition that this is like accurate and true. We're going to become more integrated with technology. You know, a beautiful example of this was one of my children has dyslexia, and I was in an IEP meeting at the school recently, and they were talking about how they would like to try out an AI that can note take for him when he's in class, right? But this AI can also eliminate other sounds and other voices, so it focuses in on just the teacher and what the teacher's saying. And they would like to test that out for him when he's in his classes like science and history, so that the teacher doesn't necessarily have to write up the notes will write themselves, and it can even summarize it in a really beautiful way. And this is what I'm talking about. And then also, obviously we can have it read to him through technology on his computer. So this is the beautiful thing about technology, and how we're going to find that it integrates. We're going to integrate it more into our lives in a way that is going to be more expansive and useful for us. And I know that there's like doom and gloom about AI taking over and taking all these jobs. And I do believe it will take over some jobs, but I believe what I'm getting from the Akashic Records is that these other jobs that are more mundane and like, almost like the word I'm getting is soul crushing. They're going to be taken away, but it's going to open up space for new innovative careers in categories that right now we're not even thinking of. And it's going to allow for expansiveness and spaciousness in the way we think, the way we perceive, the way we interact, and the way we invent things. And it's really going to, it's going to be really beautiful. Everyone's going to be more integrated with technology by the end. I also got the message that there's going to be a shift in the way we move around the world. A lot of people are predicting like the way, seen some astrologers predict things like there's going to be a shift in the way we move around the world when it comes to like transportation. The sense I'm getting, and I'm not saying that won't happen, but the sense I'm getting is that it's going to be more about the way we move around the world when it comes to the laws and regulations of moving around the world. I'm getting the sense that it is going to shift in the way we move around the world, but it's going to be in a more freer way. Like right now, depending on what country you're going from and going to, you have to have passports. Some countries don't allow for certain countries to visit other countries. I don't know all of this, but what the sense that I'm getting is that the shift in transportation may not be as much in the actual way we transport ourselves, but more in the way we are allowed to be transported around the world. It's going to, I don't know, I feel like there might be just like a way in like, it's going to shift in immigrations globally. and it's going to shift in the way passport systems work, in a way that allows people to move more freely through different areas of the world, whether it's countries or whatever we call it. But I'm getting the sense that there's going to be like this global come together and collective that allows us to move more freely around, and it's more like universal. I don't know exactly what that means, but I feel like it's going to be a universal way of moving around the world. And of course, I do believe that we will find that there are new technologies in the way maybe transportation does work, maybe the way the engines work, maybe the way we transport in speed or something like this. But I believe that collectively there also is going to be a shift in the way the immigration system works collectively throughout the globe in different countries, and the way we are able to move throughout the world in different countries with the passport. But I get the sense it's going to make it more universal, collective, and more freer to be able to move around, which I thought is really, really exciting. The second message that I got is that we're going to have fast movement in our intuitive gifts, which is sort of what I had said with the Gemini, right? Spiritual awakening. So it's hinting, which is so beautiful because it's so interesting the way, the Akashic Records and astrology and everything really works together, right? We're going to have a movement into spiritual intuitive gifts that is going to be profound and shocking. People that you would never have thought or would have been even a year ago been like, there's no way, are now going to have these spiritual intuitive gifts. It's going to be everything from telepathy to be able to astro project. We're going to, a connection with earth and the vibrations of the ley lines and the chakras of the earth. There is a collective shift into spirituality and mysticism that is going to be happening, because the truth is like, all religions speak of it, but sometimes they speak of it in a more shrouded way and in a way that is only special people have access to this, and unless you're one of the chosen, you are now evil, right? Or not good. But there's going to be this global acceptance of these spiritual gifts. We're going to realize that it is technology and information that was like hidden from us, and we're all going to begin to wake up to our intuitive spiritual gifts. And it's going to be very like individualized, because we are all intuitive. We just can, are tapped in different ways a little bit more deeply. One of the other things I do believe is it's going to move our minds to understanding that there is consciousness within our world, within our globe, our world, that we are currently not aware of or outwardly acknowledging, and that it has always been here, and that it is an energy that is good. And also we're going to begin to understand that there is consciousness outside of our world, outside of our earth, whether that's understanding other planets have consciousness like ours. And it could also be an understanding that there are different planes of existence in consciousness within our own world. And so this is really something that's going to be profound for the collective. There's going to be an understanding. It's so funny. I don't know why this is popping in my mind, but it's kind of like I saw this t-shirt that says, yes, I'm a conspiracy theorist, and my pronouns are I said so, and or I told you so, or told you so, or something like this. And it just made me laugh, because a lot of these things that we have felt were very like woo woo and way out there, we're going to begin to actually adapt and understand that they are they've always been here, and that they aren't necessarily a conspiracy theory, that there is truth to it. And what's really interesting is it's going to be adapted and accepted and shifted in a way that is very like accepting and almost like has always been there. It's very interesting, the vibe that I got. It's also going to give us a resurgence when we understand that there are different consciousnesses on Earth and off Earth. There's going to be resurgence to the word love, resurgence to our heart, resurgence to love, because we begin to understand, we begin to not fear, we begin to understand that we're all the same. We're all just a different version, aspect of the same. And there is this understanding of wholeness and truth and love. This is also going to shift our ability to sit back and allow injustices to happen, sorry, I can't say the word, throughout the globe. Because not only in our home environment, in our, immediate environment, like state or country that we live in, right? Or province or whatever it is that you live in, but also globally. We are going to have an understanding that because we are all part of something that is very similar, that we are no longer going to be able to sit back and tolerate things happening globally that may not impact us personally, but do impact the collective in a global scale. And so there's going to be a lot of, we're going to feel much more, we're going to have our empathy opened and like expanded in a way that has never been seen before. And it's going to be like a heart chakra activation for many, many people. So we're going to find that people are going to want to begin to speak about it, to move it to action in a fast way. And we're going to find that information circulates very, very fast. It's not environment. It's not going to be an environment that information can be hidden anymore. It's going to be an environment that information free flows. And that, with anything there is, there's duality, kind of like the Gemini, right? With free-flowing information brings free-flowing information, which allows for change, but also allows us to see the truth. And when those two things come together, this is where action and activation and like cohesive coherence comes together. These sound like random words, but they're just coming through right now. It's where we become very cohesive as a collective. And we begin moving forward and take steps to be more authentic and to not allow these things to happen. I hope that made sense to you. It's going to activate us in our voice, in our stepping forward into our truth, in our strength. The third message I got is really just emphasizing the duality in life, that you have to have both sides, right? Neither one is better or worse than the other. They actually worked together. And it's going to allow us to see that we can't have one without the other, right? For instance, we can't see that things are bad until it's bad, because we wouldn't know what bad is if there was something that we view as good, right? It's going to allow us to see that we have different perspectives, and it's going to allow us to be more understanding and empathetic with these other viewpoints. And it's going to allow us to be able to reach a balanced, unified version, a way to really connect those two sides of us, to consciousness, to thought, to belief systems. We're not going to go extreme one direction or another. I really feel over the next 7 years, it's going to bring this cohesive balance between the two. And now I'm not saying that this is going to happen easily, right? Uranus is very disruptive. It's very, it can bring a little chaos, because through change and chaos comes change and good, right? But we have to kind of storm a little bit before we get to a normal place. But through this storming is where we're going to be able to meet this middle ground. And there's not going to be a right or wrong way. There's not going to be this is the best way, that's the wrong way. It's going to be like, we're both sort of right. Where can we meet in the middle? And this is that energy of duality that I feel we're having, and this balanced energy that's going to come about towards the end of this 7-year cycle. We're going to meet in the middle. It's going to affect humanity and collective as a whole. And this is where I feel like somehow it's going to connect us in a way that allows us to be able to move around more freely, to be able to have more freedom, and as a collective, and not just like locally in our countries. It's going to be a collective thing. What does that mean exactly? I don't know. I wasn't shown. I just know that we're going to begin to move forward together as a collective. Together. There's going to be this thing that brings everyone together and makes us understand that we are better together. I hope this is really amazing. I hope you enjoy this. I love this. I think that this is such fun energy. It's exciting energy. I am a Gemini. My sun sign is Gemini, and I love change. Change excites me. Of course, it makes you a little scared. I'm human. Change is also scary for me too, but I know that the best things that have happened in my life have been when massive shifts have happened, when things have been disrupted and I was placed in a different trajectory. So know that any disruption that happens over the next 7 years is really divinely placed in supportive. Even in the moment, if it doesn't feel like it is going to get better. And if you feel like you need to communicate, if you feel that your senses are changing, know that this is also very normal and expected. We're going to have a mass awakening through the portal of Uranus through Gemini. It's going to awaken the way we communicate, we perceive things. It's going to change the way we view, learn, and understand things. And it's going to be a profound shift within the collective that is going to change the trajectory of many lives in a really beautiful way. So I'm so excited to see how this resonates with you. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button down below if you haven't done that yet. Put a thumbs up on the video. Share the video to someone you think might enjoy this kind of video. And make sure you save it and go back to it, because I'm curious if you have a deep spiritual awakening. If you're beginning to feel the shift, leave down a comment down below on what is that shift for you. If you're beginning to have a spiritual awakening you've just recently have had over the last few years, tell me about it down in the comments. I would love to hear. If you're curious about hearing the voice of your soul, leave it down in the comments. I'm currently working on a 7 to 8 week course that is about connecting in with the soul, hearing the voice of your intuition, and how we can connect into like the Akashic Records. So I'm super excited about it. And so if that's something you're interested in, make sure you let me know down in the comments as I begin to put this together. My hope is to have it by June. We'll see if I can get it together, because this is my side gig right now. I would love to do this full time, but I have a full-time job and I have a family and kids and all that good stuff. So this is my weekend thing. So I'm hoping that I can get it done by June. If not, I will get it done shortly thereafter. But if you're interested in it, make sure you let me know down in the comment section. Again, sending you a ton of love. I'm so happy that you're here. I'll see you in the next video.